African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoy, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of August 9, 2025. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue the special military operation. Units of the North Troop Group have taken more advantageous lines and positions, inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of tank, mechanized, ranger, airborne assault brigades and assault regiment of the armed forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements of Andriivka, Novaya Sek, Proletarskoye, and Unikovka in the Sumy region. On the Kharkiv direction, damage was inflicted on units of the Mechanized Brigade and Assault Regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements of Volchansk, Chuganovka, and Tykoy in the Kharkiv region. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost up to 195 servicemen, a tank, an armored combat vehicle, 11 vehicles, 4 artillery guns, an ammunition depot, and 6 supply depots. Units of the West Troop Group improved their tactical position, inflicted damage on formations of 2 mechanized brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements of Kupiansk, Novosergivka in the Kharkiv region, Torskoy, Novosolovka, Shandrigolovo, and Masliakovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. Enemy losses amounted to over 230 servicemen, 5 armored combat vehicles, including 2 HMMWV armored vehicles produced in the USA, as well as 15 vehicles. Destroyed were US-made and /TPQ-50 counter-battery radar station, an Israeli-made RADA radar station, 3 electronic warfare stations, and 3 ammunition depots. Units of the South Troop Group improved their position on the front line, inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of 3 mechanized, airmobile, motorized infantry, and mountain assault brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements of Severovsk, Serebryanka, Klebenbyk, Katerinovka, Konstantinovka, Alexandro-Sheltino, and Ivanopoli in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost up to 235 servicemen, 2 armored combat vehicles, 9 vehicles, and 7 artillery guns, including a US-made 155mm M777 howitzer. Destroyed were an electronic warfare station, 3 ammunition depots, and supply depots. Units of the Center Group of Forces decisively liberated the settlement of Yablanovka of the Donetsk People's Republic. Defeat was inflicted on the formations of the heavy mechanized, 2 mechanized, 2 assault, airborne assault, ranger brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, a territorial defense brigade and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements of Dmitrov, Krasnoarmysk, Chernishino, Krasny Lyman, Novoekonomichesko, Udaknoy, and Rodinskoy of the Donetsk People's Republic. The losses of the Ukrainian armed formations amounted to more than 405 servicemen, 6 combat armored vehicles, including the US-made Max Pro armored vehicle, 4 cars, and 3 field artillery guns. Units of the East Group of Forces continued to advance deep into the enemy's defense, inflicted losses on the manpower and equipment of 2 mechanized, mountain assault brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, a Marine brigade and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements of Vorono, Sosnovka, Tyko, Velikomikhailovka in the Dnipropetrovsk region, Novodorovka, Lavadno, Novoivanovka in the Zaporizhia region and Iskra in the Donetsk People's Republic. The Ukrainian armed forces lost up to 250 servicemen, a tank, 2 combat armored vehicles and 6 cars. Units of the Dnipro Group of Forces defeated formations of the mechanized, mountain assault brigades, the Coastal Defense Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and the Territorial Defense Brigade in the areas of the settlements of Kamenskoye, Novoandriivka in the Zaporizhia region, Antonovka, and Nikolaevka in the Kherson region. Up to 80 servicemen, an armored combat vehicle, 4 cars, 9 electronic warfare stations, 4 ammunition and material depots were destroyed. Operational Tactical Aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, Missile troops and artillery of the groups of troops of the armed forces of the Russian Federation defeated storage and launch sites for aircraft-type unmanned aerial vehicles, as well as temporary deployment points of Ukrainian formations and foreign mercenaries in 142 districts. Air defense systems shot down a Su-27 aircraft of the Ukrainian Air Force, 2 guided aerial bombs, 2 rockets of the U.S.-made Mars multiple launch rocket system, and 457 aircraft-type unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, the following have been destroyed: 665 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 75,813 unmanned aerial vehicles, 625 anti-aircraft missile systems, 24,504 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,584 multiple launch rocket system combat vehicles, 28,318 field artillery pieces and mortars, 39,356 units of special military vehicles. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.